Hey, everybody, what's going on? I'm Scott. That's Ryan. Davion is currently en route, shall we say, in this case. Rob Manning might be popping in a little bit later. But this is Tales from the Film Set, and we are going to be talking about some various things across the universe. Most notably, probably the Oscars. Been talking a little bit about that because you might have heard that was a thing yesterday. The world loves Brendan Fraser. The world apparently does not, in fact, love Paul Sorvino because they never mentioned him in the memoriam, by the way.
Not taking it as a slight from all Jersey people, but we're taking it as a slight.
Well, dude, also they left out Anne Hesh, but Paul Sorvino, dude, Paul Sorvino's nephew, Bill, who runs the Golden Door Film Festival, he was livid as crap. So,
understandably so. I mean,
and rightfully so. The guy's had a hell of a long career.
Yeah, like how do you forget someone who's been in that much?
Yeah. So,
but again, Jersey things aside, and we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to be talking some Oscars tonight. Might spend a little bit of time on Attack on Titan because honestly, I'm really pissed off at Attack on Titan right now. Which while day is coming on, maybe I'll just do that. We got a couple minutes here. Let me just vent this one out of my system. Do you mind?
Yes, although I can't imagine what you could possibly have a problem with.
Okay, let me give you a sec. Yeah, I was actually kind of pissed with Attack on Titan in some ways.
Which, for those who may not be aware, and if you're not aware, I don't know why you're watching.
By the way, this is not. There's going to be no spoilers on this. You don't have to worry.
There's no spoilers. I'm assuming this has something to do with not this past weekend, but the weekend before's final season premiere that came up.
It kind of ties in. By the way, I just threw a generic picture of Aaron up there. Big shocker. He's a Titan. Right. So let's set Sherman. We're going to set the Wayback Machine to 2013 for season 1.
Okay.
They plowed through 3 seasons in every couple of years, and then in 2021 they premiered season 4. They did about 10 episodes there. To be continued 1 year later, 2022. They did another 10 or so episodes. To be continued 2023. This is still season 4, by the way. So waited a full year for round 2. Waited 11 months for round 3. Finally get round 3, and what do we get? 1 episode. 1 hour-long episode, and to be completed at the end of the year. So when this is all said and done, the two final episodes, the way they've decided to do this, they are going to space it out over more than 18 months. All of season 4 will be almost 3 years in length for a single season. And every time naive, stupid me does not think that the series is going to come. Naive, stupid me thinks the series is going to come to an end in that cycle. So in 2021, I thought they were going to finish the season. 2022, I thought they were going to finish the season. I knew it was 2 parts here. I knew that they were doing a second part towards the end of the year. But I didn't think they were going to do 1 episode here, 1 hour-long episode, and be like, good job, gentlemen, let's go get beer.
To be fair, I am certain that the pandemic probably played a role in its production issues, so they probably had to space things out in accordance with that. And also, I would also want to think that the writing of the manga probably had something to do with it, because that's usually how anime plays out. Sometimes anime gets ahead of the manga as far as production is concerned, so it may have to wait for the manga to catch up.
Mm-hmm. The manga finished years ago.
Okay.
It finished about 2 years ago. It was in April, because every month, right around the 9th of the month would be the next chapter would come out.
Okay, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Okay. It's like, here's the thing. The fact that Attack on Titan can go ahead and put out this, almost like an OVA. It was almost like an original thing. And they've still put out other types of content. There was a chibi show of it. There was
I hated the chibi thing. I tried that the junior high thing.
Yeah, they've been able to make stuff in the meantime. Now we're getting Eren in Fortnite this season, so people are going to be.
Of course, because why not?
Look,
wait until he shows up in Smash Brothers.
Dude, I will buy Smash Brothers if that's the case. But all I can say is, when you have a show like Attack on Titan, because I mean, when it comes to anime, there's like almost like two different schools of thought. There's ones
Hmm.
that like continuously keep going, like say,
One Piece.
Naruto or One Piece, so in whatever iteration they have, they just keep on going and going and going. But then you have the animes like this, which strike quite a chord, and you want to make sure that you take your time telling the story. Now, yes, they may be taking a lot of time, but that obviously hasn't diminished the fandom any. Yeah, you can be upset about it, but does that mean you're going to not watch when the next one comes out?
No, I will. But
Yeah.
it was just one, like I said, every time that they did this, I thought they were going to give us more than they did. And this last one, you waited 11 months and you got one single 1 hour episode. And then they're like, okay, we'll see you in the fall. And I'm like, really? You're sure? And in some ways, actually knowing how it ends out, if they're gonna, they can't really wrap up unless they do like a 2.5 hour movie here. I don't know how well they can necessarily wrap up an entire series in an hour with where they set things off.
I mean, that
So, I mean,
might be the way they're doing it. I mean, we've seen it
they
with
have to.
Demon Slayer, how it has its continuations done through movies. I mean, Mugen Train was its own
Hmm.
movie before it became like part of the second season. Like they actually adapted the movie and made it half the second season, and
Hmm.
then the other half was the entertainment arc, which now has actually played into its own slight little film, leading into the Swordsmaker Village.
Hmm.
So there are different ways, especially with a financially lucrative franchise, that you can creatively go about
That you could
sending
milk
out
it.
the
Yeah.
episodes as opposed to the standard seasonal episodic run that a lot of other ones do. So
Hmm.
I don't. Again, I can't necessarily claim as to why they're doing it, but I'm not against it because they're still leaving enough of a breadcrumb. If it was just like a solitary 20-minute episode like we usually have gotten, then I could be like, okay, what's the
Well,
point of this?
well, see, like I said, this was an hour-long episode. So, okay, so you got
Yes,
two and maybe some change. But
yeah.
to
So they
turn,
tried to pack in as much as made it prevalent before the next events of the story.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying this is basically Frieza blowing up Namek here. I don't want that. It's going to be killed the other way around. But it is still something where there's a lot that they can really, really, really delve into with this. And I almost wonder if they're going to try and rush it too much to get it into the time frame that they've got and hurt the end of this product. I mean, the series, when it's all said and done, they're saying it's going to be 89 episodes. Okay, fine, but they might be trying to sneak in too much in the very last minute on. Oh, he's not there yet. He's there, but he's not. Trying to basically push too much in this final episode, and it might hurt the end of the product. Now, in your case, I'm not going to say. I don't know in your case if you know how it ends. If you don't know how it ends, I do.
I'm
So I'm
keeping
not going
myself
into it a
dumb. I
lot.
haven't read anything forward, so
Okay, that's fine.
I have not the
Like I said,
foggiest.
my only concern is that they do a satisfying ending to an anime that's been around for 10 years now, and that they don't end up rushing this thing to try and just get it done and lose some of the magic and go out on a weaker note. I mean, I already know how it's going to end, and I already know everything's going to involve, and I also know how much is going to be packed into it. But I also wonder how much they're going to leave out as they need to, if they need to get into that time frame.
If they need to,
Again, you
yes.
talked about
If
breadcrumbs.
being the
That one episode
opportune
was a
word, I would
breadcrumb.
say.
What's that?
If being the opportune word, because I don't know if they
Mhm.
will or not. But
Yeah.
I'm again. This is kind of like with the MCU. It's like they put out nothing but banger stuff. So it's like, do I
Oh
give
wow.
them the benefit of the doubt at this
Hmm.
point? Because this is essentially their Infinity War Endgame buildup.
Hmm.
It's like, do I give them the benefit of the doubt, even though they're leaving me on these cliffhangers? I'm like, you know what? Let's see how it rides.
Well, I was going to say, um, well, it's funny because Bob Iger recently just came out and said we're going to be focusing on a little less content and a little more quality because they realize that their stuff is actually kind of like half bombing at the box office and not making money. So they're like, we're going to be focusing more on content than we are on actually pushing out, episodes. And I mean, Liam Neeson came out and trashed Disney recently because he talked about the fact that the magic of Star Wars is gone.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's a man that's in two different franchises for Disney. I mean, he was part of the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
yes,
And
the
while
Jesus
he is
alligator.
part of Star Wars lore, he hasn't been in any of the Disney movies per se. But he's still a part of the franchise.
Until
And
basically Disney buys the rights to take
right, they can use Qui-Gon whenever they want to, but
him.
doesn't mean
Well,
they will.
he made a cameo in the end of Obi-Wan. Spoilers. Um, but it's funny because he's talking about this. Here's the thing. I've watched the first episode of Mandalorian, and it was eh. I feel like I was listening to Star Wars Theory, and one of the things they talked about was they added Grogu back in, or Baby Yoda, if you will, back into season 3 because it's better for sales. Because he's better for merchandising. The original plan supposedly was he was going to stay with Luke and train, and then maybe make a cameo at the end of the season, like Luke, Grogu, and Mando together, teaming up. But they're like the sales and the money has to come from the fact that Grogu is with Mando all the time, and so it's
Yeah,
more
I
about
almost feel like that's a Bob Chapek decision more so than a Bob Iger.
I don't know which Bob it's going to be in this case and where the decision was made, but yeah, Toos was talking heavy about the fact that he's like, we missed out on what could have been, when it came to what the Mandalorian season 3 that we had wanted. Um,
Actually, speaking of franchises making money,
yes.
yeah, there he is.
uh,
Can you visibly show that on this, considering our?
I'm not totally sure, but YouTube hasn't blocked it yet. So if it does, I'll let you know.
That's helpful.
Yes. So, by the way, Day, I know you have like a 15-minute monologue of what you're going to be saying right now, with the mask on. No, with the mask on. I think you had about 15 to 20 minutes of stuff straight through that you were going to say. So I'm just going to open up the floor to you, and you can go and talk. Go ahead.
Okay, so pretty much I went to go see Scream 6 on Friday, and pretty much it was, I want to say this, I did dress up like this at the movie theater.
Good idea.
Yeah. Or was it, is the question.
Yes, because it scared the crap out of everybody.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So, pretty much, watch the movie. I have to say, this was, I would say, at the top, like, I would say 1, 2,
Mm-hmm.
6, then
Okay.
5, then 4, then, no, 4 and 5, and then 3.
Yeah, I was going to say the one with Jay and Silent Bob goes all the way at the bottom.
Because this one actually threw a lot of tropes out, like all the lore about horror films. I know it's kind of weird that.
Well, I mean that's what Scream always was.
It's kind of
it was a horror film within basically the parody of the horror film.
No. They took all the rules and they changed it up. And I'm not going to spoil it. That's as much.
I was going to say we got spoiler free down there.
Yeah. So pretty much, it's a good film. Very good. It keeps you guessing who's the
person under the mask. Yeah.
Exactly.
The who?
The who?
The ghost face.
And it keeps you guessing about the main character. It really does a good job. I will have to say this movie was really, I would say, a 7.5, between 7.5 and an 8.5.
Okay.
I'd probably lean more towards the 7.5, honestly, because the third act was just, the reveal was dumb. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't see if it's dumb.
No, I definitely think it was dumb.
I think it was a good way. Because it was like, okay, it looks dumb, but then the twist, it made sense. Like, okay.
But does it, though?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Nah, I would debate that. I would debate that.
No, I agree. It makes sense.
It's like, I know we can't spoil the movie talking about it like this,
right.
But the thing is, like, there's really two things about the whole movie that really got to me.
Okay.
One was the reveal of Ghostface, and I feel like it was a kind of a stretch too far for me. It seemed very unrealistic.
No,
I'll just put it like that.
No. No, it
No,
was kind of good. It was good. I liked how they did that. It made
Nah,
you don't like it because I don't know. I just
because it feels like they're jumping the shark in a sense.
no. Well, okay. And some
no,
begin.
they're rebooting the shark.
No. Well, it was a better way to read if they revealed.
Dude, that would have been like, considering we were stationed in New York, that would have been kind of funny.
But I like how the beginning start. I did
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, no, it was a fine beginning, and outside of the fact that they used alleyways and
Mhm.
the subway, it was in New York, and
That was good. Like, come on, like,
no, the subway was fine. The subway was fine, but you know what? I feel like if you have something stated in New York,
mhm.
then you should fully take advantage of the locale. And I didn't feel like it did that.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
It's like here we finally have a location that's, yes, there is a college and they've done stuff in college. Yes, we have people's homes or apartments and we've done stuff there. The only thing that actually felt like it was New York was obviously the subway.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you have the entire island of Manhattan. You have the boroughs. You have all these places you can go to. You can utilize a lot more of the New York aesthetic. And you didn't. This could have happened in any big city.
Yeah, apparently they filmed it in Montreal.
Yeah, they
A lot
filmed
of it.
it in Montreal most of the time.
Yeah.
Because
Which I get that Canada gets a lot of like filming rights because it's cheaper up there. Fine.
Well, it's
But
more
I
than
mean,
that.
you
But
can
go ahead.
still add more to it.
it's really more than that.
Well, see, also because of the fact that Canada has a rule that 50% of their television has to be Canadian, has to be Canadian based. That's why a lot of the comic book stuff is up there. It's why a lot of the shows are up there, because that way you generate the Canadian audience. Otherwise, they don't allow it to be actually be aired up there a lot of times.
Right, and I saw some
Mhm.
nice familiar actors in there in this movie. I loved
Courtney
seeing
Cox is
Josh
back, yeah.
Segarra in there.
Mm.
From his time in Arrowverse and from his time in the Moonies. I
Mhm.
like seeing him.
Okay.
He was a nice addition, but
But yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
Nev
just that
Campbell.
third act. It's
Mhm.
like,
You really think so? The third
Yeah,
act.
I never saw it, so I got no answer on this one. But
All right, so yeah, I recommend people to watch this film. Ryan is one of those people that don't like. He's very critical. I'm just gonna let you know, ladies and gentlemen. He's
as we all should be.
yeah, but sometimes we could be too critical to the point that we nitpick, even though it's a good film.
I'm not saying it wasn't a good film. I'm just saying of the two things that bothered me, they're pretty standout.
Like I said,
It's not nitpicking. It's not like I'm saying anything about their costuming or, how the blood looked or anything like that.
I am going to say this: the stab scenes were really epic.
No, yeah, no, there was a good amount of gore for this. I'd say probably the thing with slasher films, and this is what I've always said when it comes to like a slasher film, if you can remember the kills, that's how you remember the movie. You don't remember the plot twist, you don't remember the characters per se, but if you remember the kills, you remember the slasher. It works for Halloween, it works for Freddy Krueger, it works for Jason.
Final Destination, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Final Destination was.
And with Scream has always been kind of like hit and miss with the kills. It's like some of them you remember. Like I remember every single kill from the first movie. That's like etched into my brain. The fifth one was all right. I wouldn't say it's as memorable. This sixth one, this definitely has some memorable kills.
Yes.
I'd say between the subway and stuff in the apartments of New York City, there is some memorable stuff. And I think that's what really makes it stand out from the rest, because this doesn't necessarily feel like a Jason Goes to Manhattan sort of thing. It's the kind of movie that can stand alone on its own without necessarily needing the prequel film to guide it.
So is the next step that Scream is basically they're gonna be out in space in the future?
No.
Scream X.
That wouldn't make no sense at all.
Yeah.
But I will say it does have an end credit.
Of course it does. Every movie has to have one, because if they don't, they're pissed off. Yeah, audiences get pissed off now.
I
Really?
wouldn't be against the idea of them going like
there.
if they do a Scream 7. I like the idea of Scream 7 actually incorporating the things from the movie 7,
Mhm. Okay.
and all of Ghostface's kills have to be off the 7 deadly sins.
Yo,
no,
great direction. That would be smart. Awesome.
what do you say? I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, I said that will be awesome.
Not you, him.
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah.
Repeat that again, Ryan.
Sorry.
Ryan, repeat that again.
I don't know if I want to now.
No, do it.
No,
Do it.
no. My
Anyway,
creative
that doesn't
genius is not being noticed.
No, I noticed it.
I was handling the chat and the comments about this. I thought, okay. Kyle's comment there about in space, no one can hear you scream. I thought was clever. I got sidetracked by
that is good. That was good. Nice one, Kyle. A xenomorph.
God help us if they actually get to that point.
And then eventually they do a crossover with Freddy and Jason and possibly Michael Myers. You know,
like Ghostface wouldn't make sense to be.
Yeah, what was that? A Scream if I Knew What You Did Last Friday the 13th, I think was the name of that parody movie.
Oh, with Tiffany Amber Thiessen?
Yes. Or Tiffany Thiessen now. I think she dropped the Amber.
Well, I think it was Amber at the time. Hold up.
Okay.
I will check.
All right.
But Ryan, repeat what you said.
It's okay. I can always go back to the video and find it later. So
okay.
I gotta edit this anyway.
So do I have to take this off?
Listen, you can wear it for as long as you want. You can wear it to work tomorrow. I'm not going to judge.
I'm not wearing it to work.
Okay.
Because
that would be you might have a conversation.
I'm not getting shot.
Yeah, if you know what, you can take it off. Take it off.
It was me. Oh it was me all the time.
Okay, here's the movie from 2000. Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th.
Not to be confused with that movie Saturday.
There's the cover of it. By the way.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah! Wow, God, yeah.
God rest Coolio. Coolio's in the movie.
God rest Coolio's career after being in this. With Coolio, Shirley Jones, Tom Arnold.
Shirley Jones, really, from the Partridge Family?
Yes.
Tom Arnold, I can see, but you know, but like really,
Simon Rex was also in this. Julie Benz was also in this. Mink Stoll. That's a shame. Artie Lang.
I can see that.
His character's name is Mr. Hasselhoff. It's like, come on.
Is David Hasselhoff in this? I wouldn't put that past him either.
Is David Hasselhoff in this? Who knows?
Why not?
When it comes to cameos, it's like this is the kind of movie that would have like a bunch of cameos.
Oh my!
No, but it does have Jimmy J.J. Walker as a pimp.
Who's that?
Jimmy J.J. Walker?
Yeah.
You know, Dynamite!
Oh, God. Oh, that poor guy. Dude, I don't know about you, but basically, half the time that basically the TV is on upstairs, it's old stuff from like, the 70s and 80s, and maybe the 90s. I have seen the Jimmy Walker Medicare commercial so many times at this point, and you can hear him literally cringe and his teeth get grit. He's like, sign up now. It's dynamite. You can see like the pain in his face as he has to say the line.
Yeah, that's pretty much anybody that has a catchphrase.
Yeah, always need Ash as a cameo. By the way, Ash Ketchum, not Ash from Evil Dead.
No, when that new movie comes out, I'll wonder if they have any kind of like connection to the original.
Yeah. Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold.
Yeah, Artie Lang. I'm just looking at.
Yeah. Plus, they also have Alana Erbach, who I always enjoy her.
Anime nostalgia.
What's your shirt, dude? Oh yeah. Okay.
Hellsing.
I basically before you came on, I was griping about Attack on Titan for a minute.
Oh, that's good.
Because we waited 11 months for the next part of season 4, and they gave us one literal episode and said, "Okay, bye. We'll see you in the fall."
Wow,
dude! I was like,
it was a special episode.
I know, but I waited 11 months for like the next part. I mean, I knew it was going to be 2 parts of the year, but I waited 11 months for the next part of this, and they're like, "We give you one solid episode, 1 hour episode. Later, guys. See you in the fall. Bye." And I was like, "Dude, really? You couldn't give us like 4 or 5 anyway?" So, Dr. Stone, okay. Never saw Dr. Stone. You might have, but I never did.
Whatever happened to Dr. Stone?
Huh. I'm pretty sure that's on Adult Swim right now, too. But so, Day,
Yeah.
you want to talk Oscars, right?
If y'all want to go that, no, really, that was Ryan.
No, I have it here in the chat. All right.
Go ahead, because I didn't say nothing about Oscar.
It wasn't me. I believe my memes properly said that.
All right. At 8:37 a.m., Scott. Hey, good morning. So tonight, what nouns to verbally discuss while firing off adjectives? Because that's Scott. Davion replies, "Let's talk about Scream 6 and the Oscars."
Oh yes, I did. Thank you.
There it is. Crystal, black and white. You
Yeah,
stole fizzy lifting drinks.
Yeah, that was me.
So,
And you dare to sully my name.
That's something that Ryan would definitely sell. Saying, "Let's talk about the Oscars."
Look, if there was something noteworthy about the Oscars, I probably would have brought it up. But to be honest, this Oscars was rather benign.
well, they had to be
For,
benign.
for
They
at
they
least
had to be very-
95% of the awards, whoever won was who you expected to win.
Except for now, I will say this.
That's why I said 95, because I knew you were going to bring it up.
Except for what's her name? For
Angela
support
Bassett.
yeah,
She lost to Jamie Lee Curtis.
which was kind of like what happened. She just came out the blue.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, she didn't. All right. While Bassett may have had like a good amount of like steam in the early goings of award season, Jamie Lee Curtis started like getting her wins at the later end too. So she had just as much momentum as Angela Bassett did. And when you look at how Everything Everywhere All at Once dominated, and I mean dominated compared to the other awards nominees, I can't really say I'm surprised by it.
Yeah, we're not. Like, I wasn't surprised about that film. I wasn't even surprised about Brenda Fraser winning for The Whale.
No, yeah, Brendan Fraser was a lock. I say Michelle Yeoh was a lock. Kiwan Kwan was definitely a lock.
But I was kind of shocked about Angela Bassett.
Right, and a lot of people were. I'd say almost angrily and aggressively shocked. Which, yeah, I can understand, especially from like a fandom point of view, because this was like the first big MCU acting nomination that we actually got as MCU fans. And unfortunately, it didn't make it to the big show. But Angela Bassett certainly got her laurels enough during award season that you can't really say that she got like, shrugged away. It's just, if it came down to two, it would have come down to those two, I would say.
Now, Kyle brings up a solid point here. Yeah, they had to go safe. This is basically the Super Bowl after Nipplegate. It's like, what's the safest thing that we can do so we don't attract any more attention to it or any more bad blood?
Right.
Yeah, but you can't even say it's like the people producing or directing the Oscars. It's pretty much the Academy.
Right.
It's whatever the Academy voted on.
That is quite literally their Twitter handle, the Academy.
Yes. So. It's what the Academy decided to vote on. And unfortunately, I guess Everything Everywhere All at Once just had like that much stronger of a campaign, because there were movies that had multiple nominations that didn't win a single award. Banshees of Inisherin didn't win anything. Elvis didn't win anything. Tar, which everyone was touting around how great Kate Blanchett was in it. Nothing. A24 and Everything Everywhere All at Once. This was their year. You could not fight it.
Wow. And then here's some other backlash that we heard. When they was mentioning the passing of.
Sorry, listen. We already talked about Paul Sorvino. We promise you we're going to come back to that.
Okay.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. I thought you were going to talk about this. I had to.
I didn't even see this. I don't even know what happened with this.
Why, Thames? Why?
Apparently, yeah, the singer Thames and Master of Publicity gave her basically a giant nimbus cloud which was unable to be taken off. So all the people who basically got the opportunity of a lifetime to see the Oscars saw this headpiece on the back of her head, and she couldn't take it off. So
She looks like one of the talking flowers from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh my god.
Dude, but you see this poor guy being circled here. He's trying to get his head around it.
You're like,
Literally.
look, who made you wear this? This is I don't know what that do look like me without my glasses.
Dude. But yeah, no,
but imagine being the people like seated right behind her.
That's what I'm saying. You got these people that basically, sometimes wait their entire lifetime to finally have the opportunity to be at this thing. And it's like, guess what? You're not seeing a thing. But in her case, it's a brilliant marketing move.
Right.
Because I honestly never heard of Thames until this. Now I know.
Mm-hmm.
So expect to see this as a more coming trend where they're going to use stuff like this to try and get a little more self-publicity for themselves and through their agent. I think this is going to become
like they always say, there's no such thing as bad press.
I disagree to a degree, but the hell's going on? But in this case, like I said, more people know who she is now.
And I'm just liking the picture because you got Florence Pugh in the corner there too. So
yes.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you got this Stephen Colbert almost looking dude in the back. And then, just this random bald head right here too in front.
Yeah, the guy trying to look around the thing. It's like, I'm surprised he's not like just squishing it down at some point. Just like let that be the meme. Just like pushing it.
By the way, I just have to push this up here.
Oh Lord.
The responses, by the way.
What does it say?
Come on. There we
Lord,
go.
forgive me. Lord.
Enhance.
Can you get
Enhance.
Wait, that's too much enhance. Back up.
I think it's okay. I'll scroll if I need to.
Okay.
But yeah, Dingus, I'm so honored to be attending the Oscar ceremony tonight, sitting behind Tim. Such an amazing experience. To make it all the way to the Oscars, only to sit behind Tim. I can't help but laugh every time I see Thames, and I know that the people behind her are sick. Yeah.
Yo, okay, I gotta read this one. Yo, what the F is Thames wearing? She getting married at the after parties.
Wow. Imagine waiting your whole life to be at the Oscars and you end up sitting behind a stratus cloud.
Flying Nimbus.
No! You're ruining everything!
It's like, can we come up with any more sayings on our own to for this picture?
Hang on a second. Okay.
Wait, I got one.
I did the Alice Wonderland thing, so
no. The Teletubbies. Remember the baby?
She's the sun. The little sun face.
Oh, she's a sun baby.
With the cloud, yeah.
You know what? I wonder. Yeah, okay. Kind of, sort of. A little bit of a stretch, I admit, but it brought this nightmare fuel to my head.
Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's the face eater from Avatar.
Ooh. That's not great.
Yeah.
That's not good. I'm not happy. So.
Okay, I'll throw in one more. It's similar. It's like, bring up the picture. Yeah, I didn't know Thames was such a Georgia O'Keeffe fan.
Does anyone get that one?
I ain't getting that one.
She made a lot of paintings of flowers that looked like vaginas.
Okay.
Sorry, it was a little heady. All right, but
it was like
food goes here. I'm smart.
I mean, I could have got a lot more lewd, but we're on a television show, and this is getting network censored if I do it.
I think. Well, you said the word vagina. I think that's probably okay. Yeah. But it's. I don't know. It's weird smoke thing. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Anyway, we should probably talk about this day. I know this is your department. This is what you really wanted to go into. I'm just going to let you roll, sir.
All right. Yeah. For someone that has the most prestige in Hollywood, Paul Sorvino was not mentioned at the Oscars during the time before he passed. And I will have to say this is a disgrace, disrespectful, and honorable for the Servino family. You know, it it's just that you have to put some. You mentioned all the other people except for him, and that's kind of like a slap in the face to that family. How he put in a lot of work, a lot of attention, a lot of stuff when it comes to the film industry. He's Jersey bred, and is very distasteful. And Oscars, you failed. You have dropped the ball on this one, and I don't know how you're going to fix this. People are saying, "Oh, they could take care of it next year." I do not agree.
It's too late.
It's too late. It was already done. It's been a couple of times that the Oscars forgot people and didn't. No, in fact, no, I take that back. It's been other places like news people forgot to mention people and stuff like that. But you are the epitome of what actors want to be at, and he had done so much, and there's other people as well. But not to mention, this guy's name is totally degrading and disrespectful to the Servinos family. And I'm sorry to say it, but I'm definitely going to have to say I'm not speaking on their behalf, but if they allow me to, cool. But as of right now, I'm speaking from what I see and I observed, and it is very distasteful and disrespectful.
You and I both know some members of the Sorvino family, and you might be referencing one of the Facebook posts that I saw earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
From one of the relatives about the fact that someone who had literally, I believe, 60 years in the industry. I mean, he did Goodfellas back in the 80s. So you look at, even pushing forward from there, and the career that he had with all the movies that he did on TV shows. I mean, he helped in a lot of ways launch Law and Order.
Right.
Because he was on Law and Order at the very beginning to kind of give the show some weight to it. And, you look at that kind of a resume, you look at everything he did, and it's like, how do you drop that ball? I mean, I get that there's a lot of people that pass, and I know you have a limited amount of time, but any solid editor can make that work all the way through. Trust me, you can. But they dropped the ball with Paul Sorvino, they dropped the ball with Hesh, and it's amazingly shocking, and they got trashed for it, and rightfully so, because he was one of them for so long.
Right.
And how do you screw that up? Seriously, how do you mess that up?
Also, I do want to point out something here, and this was reported by the LA Times about, I guess, late last night, earlier this morning. In regards to the people that were omitted from the Oscars in memoriam, among those omitted were Goodfellas actors Paul Sorvino and Tony Sirico.
Also, good point.
South African actor Charlie Dean, who died shortly before the release of her film Triangle of Sadness, which was one of the nominees of that last night's awards ceremony. And, of course, there was a 6 Days, 7 Nights actor, Anne Heche, that was left out too. And not only were those actors noteworthy in their own rights with their career, but apparently also not honored was Sacheen Littlefeather, who had minor roles in certain films, but was most famous for declining Marlon Brando's Oscar on his behalf in 1973.
Remember that.
Which in itself was a very notable moment in the Oscars history. It may be more infamous than anything else, but still something that should be acknowledged. I mean, if they're going to go ahead and poke, if they're going to go ahead and have Jimmy Kimmel poke fun at Chris Rock getting slapped and nobody doing anything about it, acknowledge everything.
Yeah. Like I said, to me personally, I think the Oscars are in many ways overrated. I understand that if you're a crew person in the industry, you're involved very directly. I get it. It's a big deal, but I can't get, I look at something like the Oscars and I just look at that and I think to myself, the money being spent on this, how much water can you buy for a third world country right now?
Right.
That's the way I looked at. I mean, you look at these dresses that are $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, and you just think, okay, how much food can that buy? So that's why I use the South Park meme of basically smelling your own farts, because that's what a lot of ways the Oscar really kind of has become. It's like, oh, you were amazing in this. Well, you were amazing in this. Aren't you wonderful? Aren't it? And it's this whole mutual admiration society. Meanwhile, like I said, you got people out there that are starving to death, dying of disease, and they're like, at least I get to look and see those people fashionable. I still have no freaking food. We got no electricity, but at least they're looking good.
Right.
Well, I still want to get there for the 100th. I know that much, but
yeah, fair. But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that.
Although there is one more thing that I think has to be called out. That
thank you, Kyle. I would do the same damn thing. Hell yes. Or
yes.
show up in a dress like Trey and Matt.
Oh, I'm going in pajamas. They're going to be silk pajamas.
That'll work.
But I'm going in pajamas.
I'll wear like a
Because
cosplay.
if it's going to be that long, I'm taking a blanket and I'm sleeping. But one thing I have to point out, and it was pointed out by many other people too, because this was an egregious overstep, I'd say, by ABC and their parent company, Disney. To go ahead and force the people in attendance to watch a trailer for one of your tentpole films on the broadcast.
I've been telling you about that. Dude, I've been telling you.
That's too much. I don't know if this was like a Bob Iger decision or a Bob Chapek decision. Dude, but you know what? Never in the history of the Oscars has any studio gone out of their way to tout out one of their films so blatantly. Look, if you want to do it during the commercial breaks and you want to buy a spot during the commercials to show in the trailer like they do for the Super Bowl, have at it. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. It's not like during the halftime show of the Super Bowl, you had to sit through 3 movie trailers and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But here we had to have a trailer for The Little Mermaid being introduced by 2 of the actors who were in the film. Now, they've done that before in the past where they've had actors who are going to be in future films say, and in the coming, the future film, The Little Mermaid, they could have easily said blah, 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 and brought them out and touted it that way and still have them address an award because that's what people are there for. They're there for the awards.
Right.
They're not there to see a goddamn trailer for The Little Mermaid when we already got one a little while ago, and this is one that isn't coming out till May, so it could have waited.
Yeah.
Why, Disney? Why do you feel like you have to go this extra step?
I've been telling you this for so long. Like I said, Jeopardy is on all the time up here. The amount of plugging that they do on Disney-related products. They actually had a question that the other day, which was about Superman. I forget what it was. But, they every time it's like basically this movie in Marvel Phase 5 is, was one of the many that was involved in Paul Rudd's career, this character. In this case, obviously Ant-Man. Ant-Man, by the way, Quantumania is going to be coming out of it. They do that so painfully often on Jeopardy alone that it sullies the whole thing. And I know I've bitched about this in the past, and people are like, well, it's always been that way. It has, but not like this.
Right.
The industry has gotten so cutthroat with Disney fighting DC, fighting Netflix, fighting Amazon, fighting HBO. Everybody is so cutthroat and fighting one another so much for your money that they are doing stuff that they never would have done 30 or 40 years ago to get your money.
Right.
And that whole thing about remember the scene in Minority Report where Tom Cruise is walking in the mall, one of the best scenes in that movie. We laughed at that 20 years ago when that movie came out. We're looking at it now.
I never saw Minority Report, so what scene are you talking about?
There's a scene where he's walking through the mall, and it's like, hello, Tom Cruise, you look a little parched. How about getting a Sprite? By the way, while you're here, you want to check out this new movie. And it's like, by the way, I just happened to notice one of the things that basically your shoes look actually a little bit worn. Maybe it's time you get some new shoes. And he's just walking through the mall, and all these ads are hitting him inside the mall. Philip K.
So wait, they're directly going after the consumer?
Watch the scene. So it's Philip K. Dick, who's the guy who wrote Blade Runner. He wrote Man in the High Castle. And Minority Report was one of the many things that he did. Total Recall was his also. So you can see that mental, psychological vibe to it. And greatest science fiction writer I ever read. But yeah, that kind of stuff is becoming reality. And, with these streaming wars being what it is getting so much more cutthroat than ever. Because profits over people is the new philosophy. And that's part of my biggest frustration with it.
And the problem is, you can't fight this because
nope, it's the future.
It was on ABC, which is owned by Disney, so it's their sandbox.
And that's a captive audience. Millions of people are watching that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
But the point,
they've never done it before. This is the first time that they've ever done it. And it's not like they've allotted other studios to do such a thing. Sure, there'll be something that plays into maybe the movies that were nominated for that year, but
Mhm.
nothing that's coming up, and it's nothing that the entire audience had to be subjected to.
Right.
Because again, like I said, it's one thing if you play it during the commercials, because then that's something strictly for the consumer. That's strictly for the people that,
Mhm.
in one way or another, are spending their money to watch the show. But to do that to the people in attendance,
Yeah.
when that's not what they're there for. And it's like being force fed to them. That's so disrespectful, not just to the people there, but to the studios that have people in attendance, to anyone that did anything for Disney. And funny enough, Disney came away with fewer awards than I think they really expected to.
Mhm.
They didn't even come away with best animated,
Yeah.
which is usually a Disney lock. But no, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio got that, which
Yeah.
is a great damn movie. I have to say that. So maybe Disney should think about what Bob Iger and Kevin Feige are saying. Maybe they should focus more on quality than quantity,
Which
Right.
they
because
did
the
also- which they did talk
overkill
about,
is
yes.
now becoming
Mhm.
egregious.
Yeah. And a lot of people are getting tired of the watered down fast food, product that we've been talking about. And they've had the conversations about, slowing down with Disney, slowing down with Marvel, and coming up with stronger, more memorable content.
Right.
All this content that they come out with, every single one. And I did an article on this. All the Disney reboots and remakes are not meant for the future. They're meant for instant dollars now. So they have no lasting appeal. So I mean, does anybody really remember, the live action Lady and the Tramp or Dumbo?
Yes.
I
No.
mean, is it memorable in your brain,
No.
or is it just a thing? It's like,
It's
oh yeah,
just
they
a
did it, but it doesn't have anything that captures you. Beauty and the Beast, maybe a little bit, because it was unique to its time. But they've got what? They've got Little Mermaid coming out. They've got something next later on this year, I think, don't they?
The something. I forgot the name of it. It has something to do with Welcome to something World Tomorrow or something.
I don't remember what it was. Yeah, they
Well,
got
okay, Disney. If we're talking fully
Oh,
Disney, obviously
they got
there's the Marvel
Peter Pan
movies.
and Wendy's coming out.
Yeah, Peter and
Mhm.
Wendy is coming.
Yeah, and then next year we have Snow White and a sequel to the live action Lion King.
Mhm.
And then after that we have Hercules, an Aladdin sequel, Jungle Book sequel, Hunchback, Cruella sequel, Tink apparently a Tinkerbell spinoff, Sword in the Stone live action, Robin Hood live action, Prince Andrews film, a Bambi live action, Aristocrats live action, and Lilo and Stitch live action. That is on the Disney plate for live action.
And that's just Disney animated remakes.
Dude, that's just
Animated
Disney
to
alone,
live action
man.
remakes. That's not talking
That's too
Disney
many live
original
actions.
content.
This-
That's not
I
Star
wanna
Wars.
say-
That's not
I
MCU.
gotta say something. Like it gotta stay. Hold on. That's too many live action films. Too many that y'all remaking. And y'all gotta realize and take it easy with the live action. There's certain films you could just leave it as a cartoon and that's it. There's others where it has potential to be live action.
Mhm.
You making Leo and Stitch live action? That should be left as a
Yeah.
cartoon. Hunchback of Notre Dame, okay, maybe live action. I could see. Jungle Book should have stayed cartoon. Of course, Lion King should have stayed cartoon. Hercules, okay, I can see that live action.
Actually, sorry, I went the wrong way there. My bad.
It's going to be interesting to see what Pain and Panic look like.
What's that?
For Hercules, Pain
yeah.
and Panic, the little demons.
Yes,
How are you
yes,
going
yes.
to do cute demons in live action?
Yeah, apparently Guy Ritchie's involved with it, as you can see right here.
Well, yeah, but isn't he also involved with the? He was the one involved with Aladdin, wasn't he?
He might have been.
Yeah,
Aladdin wasn't bad. It was decent.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, Peter Pan and Wendy's. Nobody's gonna remember that.
well,
Little
that's
Mermaid-
going to be a Disney Plus exclusive. That's not even going to theaters.
Yeah, no, but even in this case here, it's still yet another live action.
And Mufasa, the
and
Lion
Peter
King.
Pan.
So I'm guessing that's a prequel.
Yeah. Might be, or I don't know. They did 1.5, didn't they? At one point.
Well, they've done a lot of sequel
I don't
stuff
remember.
for the Lion King in animated form, but they've
Yeah.
never done anything prequel wise.
All early 2000s, they were plowing out sequels and interquels all over the place. But yeah, Hercules, Aladdin sequel. But obviously a lot of these are TBA, and they could be just dropped at some point as various projects.
Okay, how are you still not? If you're doing an untitled Jungle Book sequel, that kid's gonna be 20 by the time they start filming.
Recast.
Yeah.
But apparently Jon Favreau's involved. So
I'll say this: I do want to see what Hunchback looks like live action, because
I think you can do something clever with that. Yes.
Yeah, you can definitely go PG-13 with that, and you can probably go a little bit more grandiose.
None of that CGI stuff that they used on that movie with the tiger.
And to be honest, The Sword and the Stone, I would like to see a remake of that too, because I think that would be kind of cute and clever.
It could be. I mean, I don't know. I was raised. Here's the thing. I was raised on Sword in the Stone and the Robin Hood Disney one. Those are like really major staples to my childhood there. And I understand they're going to reboot it for money and everything like that. But again, every single one of these just in my brain just screams out cash grab.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't have to remake everything. I don't know why they're doing a Robin Hood. You're going to make the live action anthropomorphic animals? You want a furry community movie? I don't see Disney doing that. But that's what's going to happen. I mean, people already have like fan art about Maid Marian and Robin and Little John as it is.
Rule 34 of the internet, right?
You want to put that into 3D? You want to put that out into the world?
But if you look at this right here, this is the Disney subscriber numbers.
Yeah.
You can see that drop in early 2023. Now, truth be told, the only reason I have Disney right now is it's part of the Hulu package.
I keep it Disney because of the Marvel.
Yeah, if that's fair.
I'll be honest. I've got Disney.
That
for
seems
a lot
gonna
of
hurt like
reasons.
hell. By the way, I don't care if it's live action or not. That seems
there is some good animated stuff that's coming out there. I've been watching The Owl House whenever the episodes actually get put up there. I've been watching episodes of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I'm really
I've heard
loving
good things
that.
about that. I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, no, it's very fun. The music for it is fantastic. Whoever they have doing like the composition and everything, great stuff. And yeah, I'm sure when something Marvel comes up television wise, I'll see that, because usually I see the movies in theaters anyways. But that's just how much of a fan I am. And then yes, I am watching Mando, because Star Wars wise, that's the only thing I have the palate for.
Yeah, see,
I tried with Boba Fett. No, I didn't give Obi-Wan a shot, and I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I watched the first episode of Mando, and I'm kind of like, you know what? I'll wait till the season's over, because it just felt so much of the same. I've talked about this before. Sylvester Stallone always said that the second sequel, whether it's a TV show or a movie, has to be some bit different than the previous two. The second one can be like the first sequel could be like the first one. But if you look at, for example, Creed 3, that was vastly different in a lot of ways because it was different in the storyline. He had retired at this point. Rocky was not even in it at all. So
Rocky didn't need to be in it. That's the beauty of it.
But in this case here, it wasn't more of the same. It had its own story and added some development in it. Honestly, it was very similar to Rocky 3 in a lot of ways in this case.
Although I will say the fight in Creed 3, that final fight.
Yeah.
That was way more
flat.
No, not flat. Just that was way more anime than it needed to be.
Thank you.
Well, see that flat's not the best word, but in this case, it didn't feel like a Rocky Creed fight. I mean, they tried something different. Okay, fine, but when you look at, say, for example, the fight that they had at the end of Creed 1 or Creed 2, Creed 2, especially Victor Drago. I mean, that fight that he had there, I mean, that was a damn good fight in a lot of different ways and unique in its own right too, because by the end of this, he was kicking the crap out of Drago, and it suddenly became a different story about he was no longer the underdog trying to win. Right. It was about how far is this going to go, and is he going to kill Drago? And then you see Ivan Drago's redemption in saving his own son by basically tossing him in the towel to just concede the fight.
Whereas in Creed 3, both fighters are sent off to the Shadow Realm, where they're pretty much fighting in a dreamscape at supersonic speed, so much so that it looks like they actually sped up the actual fighting to be faster than it could be.
Because it felt like an anime.
It was drawn. He said it was drawn from like Naruto and Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Funny enough, young Adonis has a Naruto poster in his room when they show the beginning of the movie, and then you have the Naruto and Sasuke punch where it's like, but it's like
No,
even at the end of the match, they went a full 12 rounds in that match,
Yeah.
and they both looked like they had barely been touched from like round 1 and 2.
It was like those old like John Wayne fight scenes where they basically just left hook and right hook the crap out of each other, and they just get up and feel fine.
Exactly. Whereas when you look at Adonis from the previous movies, he got bloodied up.
Oh
easy.
yeah, the welts on his face and everything like that.
Yeah, and then these two are coming out unscathed.
By the way, Hajime no Ippo, most accurate, I think, boxing series of all time.
yeah.
Period. You know, I think it was done so absolutely well. I'm still reading the manga. I still have like 400 chapters to go.
Well, what about Megalobox?
Never saw it.
I gotta see that.
But
yeah, the second season of that says it takes a real harsh turn. You know, definitely dramatic.
Ippo makes you feel good about life. You know, it's freaking awesome.
Man, how many things do I have to root for a guy named Joe? Come on.
Let's go!
You know, it's funny actually. Nathan Barnott, the YouTuber who's actually also a professional boxer now, he got Ippo tattooed on his body, and I thought it was Ashita no Joe when you mentioned Joe, and he corrected me. He's like, "No, this is Ippo," and I'm like, "Okay." I'm thinking in my head, if he's willing to get this tatted on his rib cage, this has got to be a decent anime. I was trusting his tat as the reason I was going to watch this anime, and by God, it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, but Nathan's always been a little crazy.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like back when he was Keith Apicary, you know, I've met the man a few times myself.
Yeah.
I actually got to
dead.
record him during a I guess you'd call it a roast of the angry video game nerd from like.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, because Brent was there.
Right. And I've got a nice picture of him and Newt Wallen just like hugging in a half naked embrace, and it's like,
oh
yeah, because wasn't Nate one of the MCs on that?
Yeah, he was emceeing. I think he was the MC, you know, hosting the whole thing. I'd have to pull up that whole video because I think I recorded most of it. It was a fun time, but yeah, Nate is always a little off. Like ever since he started doing the dad stuff, like I give him credit. He's now created another internet character that
there we go. Finally got it.
Kind of, you know, has its own amount of controversy but charm, like Keith Apicary did. But yeah, just seeing him with this like fading hairline, but then ripped as all hell. It's weird, man. I can't. I see it, and I visually can't understand.
He's fighting next month in Tampa or St. Pete.
Yeah, so is Aaron Hansen.
Yeah, I know. Aaron's gonna get his ass kicked. You know, but Markiplier is going to be there. Jacksepticeye, I think, is going to be there. But Nathan, he KO'd that other guy in 22 seconds.
No,
if you watch that fight, he killed him.
You know, I mean,
Joe Rogan was talking about it.
more legit than the Pauls, I'm sure, but still.
God, you know, we talked about that on the sports show about the fact that, you know, that Logan or Jake Paul finally lost a fight and everything like that, and you know what it means for the sport and how that's going to go and everything. And our whole thought process on that was just like,
hey, Rob.
Yeah, man. You know,
you came in just as we were showing the half naked men. Good time.
Yes. Boxers, I got to tell you, they hate Jake Paul and Logan Paul because it's turned their sport into something where YouTubers are just using it for easy publicity. They hate what the sport's become after all these years. You know.
Did I miss all the talk on the Oscars?
Yeah, we can go back to it if you want.
I was just gonna say I love when Brendan Fraser walked on stage, which I've met Brendan Fraser, so that was really cool to see that he finally got an Oscar after all these years and finally is getting the credit he's needed, you know. Right. And what's great is I love when he went in the mic and said, "Welcome to the multiverse," or "This is the multiverse." I just started laughing. I'm like, is he referring to like the multiverse of like comics? You don't know.
It's funny because he disappeared off the map for a lot of years. Yeah. Obviously, we remember him from like, you know, obviously The Mummy, I mean, even before that, even too. But The Mummy is what's catapulted his career, and he had some.
Would Encino Man be the reason, or isn't it Encino Man that jumped his career? Or am I wrong on that?
No, it was The Mummy. I was in my early 20s when basically The Mummy came out. and nobody remembered him from Encino Man or The Scout or Airheads. But he did that one. He did George of the Jungle previously with Leslie Mann.
Yes.
George of the Jungle was good, but it wasn't like The Mummy. The Mummy was a smash hit.
And he was in Looney Tunes Back in Action, which will always be
that wasn't memorable. That would pretty much be one of those films that was a cash grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to make another Space Jam, but they didn't have any basketball players.
I actually have a comic book. I can't show it right now because I didn't realize I should have realized. I just literally got home, but I actually have a comic book that is signed by Brendan Fraser of Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Oh, was it a comic book companion piece, or was it like...
No, it was the comic book adaptation comic that they did for Looney Tunes Back in Action. They did the same thing for Space Jam. Okay. And then I also have the Mummy comic book adaptation cover that they did.
Nice.
And Goldberg was in... Which Goldberg? Like Whoopi?
Bill Goldberg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
Goldberg
gonna say,
was in the second.
Yeah, that wonderful movie, which I am meeting Matthew Lillard, not this weekend, but next weekend. And if anyone remembers this movie, Matthew Lillard makes a cameo in the movie, and he's arguing with the cartoon Shaggy, which not everyone knows that is Casey Kasem, right before he passed away. Yeah, well, that's who he was having an argument. The cartoon version was Casey Kasem right before he passed away.
Right, and this came out after the Scooby-Doo live-action movies, correct?
Hey Alexa, when did Scooby-Doo the live-action come out?
2000 or 2001.
SpinSouthwest.com. The live-action Scooby-Doo movie dropped in 2002. By the way, you have a new notification.
Alexa, stop.
Tales in the Film Set, brought to you by Alexa. By the way, make sure to watch fine program.
You have one notification. Your penis pump is on its way to your home.
Yeah.
It'll be delivered tomorrow evening.
That's right, because I should have been able to already know this. But that's right. In the scene, this movie came out before the sequel because Casey Kasem said, "You better not screw me up in the sequel."
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was right before Scooby-Doo 2, right in between. And yeah, I gotta say, people can have different opinions, but that'll always be my favorite Brendan Fraser movie.
And 20 years later, we got Velma.
Oh no! Oh no! Let's not talk about.
Did they cancel that?
No, it's getting a season 2.
It's getting season 2 because of all the views of everybody. Terrible.
Yes, but all right, we are talking the HBO Max discovery of Zaslav. All right, if there is any chance, he will go ahead and cut ties on that sequel season, probably before production gets underway. Or, hey, he may even watch the first episode and be like, you know what? No. Put it in the vault.
Well, I think people checked it out of curiosity but gave up on it. Got bored.
Yeah.
I have to give the new owners credit. You know, it's if they have to put their foot down, they will.
By the way, can I just point out to give credit, what actually landed the Mummy was Brendan Fraser in George of the Jungle, partly because he looked like that.
Probably.
So that is honestly that is an underappreciated, impressive physique for Brendan Fraser.
Is the reason he got Mummy was because Jungle? Is that what you just read?
Yeah, because George of the Jungle came out previously.
Yeah.
Which I can see it because just with the couple right there, I mean, that is like the couple from the Mummy. You know, that's almost like a nice screen grab of it could be from either thing. You could just change out the background, really.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
But yeah, Mrs. Apatow also.
Sorry. Another thing that I think helped from map is when he did Doom Patrol. If anyone
that helped getting back on the map, yeah.
Yeah, that was his resurgence, really.
Really like Doom Patrol. I need to watch it because.
No, I've been watching Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is really good. It's just that. Hello? Yeah, it's a really good, like, season 1 and 2 was really good. I think we're on season 3 for HBO.
4, actually, and it ends this season.
Yeah.
The second half of season 4 still needs to air, but it's been canceled along with Titans because it's not going to be a part of James Gunn's new Warner Brothers,
Even
new DC branch.
Even Stargirl was canceled, and I ran into Stargirl and was it Wild? No, not Wild Thing. What's the other her partners in crime?
What are you talking about?
Stargirl.
The Justice Society?
Yeah.
What about them?
So it's Stargirl, and who else is on her team?
Let's see. You got Hourman.
Seen it. You know, this is like got a relevant tonight stream, but I podcast called the and old episodes for someone I go and watch podcast to start, and there's Scott, our fearful leader, fearless leader, fearless. It's
he
funny.
Can be fearful when he wants to be. It's all right.
Yeah.
Stargirl.
Yeah, George of the Jungle, by the way,
they were
97, 98.
They were Stargirl, and I need to see any of the newest season, because and I'm due with the if they'll bring back any of John Wesley shit made an appearance as his kick, which he's super excited because I thought we were gonna get Jay Gibb and Legends of Tomorrow when they version of the J Infinity did a version of JSA on Wesley ship, and when they said he would show, they hi guys. Oh, they're big. But I asked him at my very first 17. I was like, "Hey, Eric, are you coming into Legend?" He's like, he was thought that was a missed opportunity. Stargirl came out. I was happy they brought it back.
Nice. I figure probably. Sorry, Rob, as you're coming on right at this point. We've been out this for almost 70 minutes now, so I figured maybe we could start wrapping this up. What do you think?
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
No, that's perfect. On the quick thought on the guys' entire conversation. I was at work.
Yes, I just know I need to go use the bathroom, so I'm.
Okay, yeah. That's the reason I left. I just wanted to go pee because I couldn't wait any longer. All right, folks. So we're gonna wrap this up on the grounds that all of us really have to go pee. So
sure. Blame it on me.
No, dude. I said all of us. I gotta go.
Yeah,
too,
I gotta go too, man.
Dude, everybody's gotta go. You know.
Next Monday will be exciting and talk about which is Planet Con, and then the next week after where I'll get that. So excited.
Nice. So. All right, folks. So appreciate the time as always. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Ryan. You were awesome. Thank you, Day. You were awesome. Thank you, Rob. There we go. You were awesome. Talking the Oscars, talking Scream 6, talking Attack on Titan. Next week we'll talk about something else. I don't know yet, but drop a message in the comments or drop us a message. You know, if you have anything you want us to touch base on, and we will go from there. Until next time. Take care. Stay awesome. We're gonna go pee.